Calcutta and Rajasthan. Now, if Calcutta, this is where it gets interesting, right? You know that Mumbai is cheering for Rajasthan tomorrow. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
The Mumbai team are all wearing pink jerseys tomorrow and watching this game. Like, come on, Rajasthan, do this for us. Why? Well, the old points table comes out again, so we can do a little bit of math for you and show you, because as you know, we are all math professors. This is very simple math, actually. This is the love triangle between Rajasthan, Calcutta, and Mumbai. So there you go. If Kolkata wins tomorrow, right? If it's a close game. Now, remember the last game, Calcutta won, but their net run rate came down. That's because they won it with such a drag. So that's a possibility as well. You can go ahead, but actually go back. They moonwalked with their net run rate on that one, right? And now, if Rajasthan beats them tomorrow, then it's set up for the last day for Mumbai to win and qualify. It's as simple as that. If Calcutta wins tomorrow and they win small, they win it at a crawl, they still go to 14, but they're not safe, because Mumbai could potentially win big like they did in the game yesterday and derail Kolkata or grab that fourth qualification stock. The only advantage for Mumbai will be that even if Calcutta wins tomorrow, Michael, they will have the exact calculation going into the game the next day. You know what they need to do to qualify. And if my mind races back to that Wankhede Aditya Tare against Rahul Dravid coached Rajasthan, where Mumbai had to get across the line, I think in 14 point, 13 point something, and they got it done to the last ball and qualified. My mind goes back to that. Mumbai fans are very happy about it, but it just gives a very interesting end to the tournament either ways.
Yeah, I actually think from a KKR perspective, it's a great position to be in, because you know they have to win. You know, I think Mumbai will win the last game. So KKR win, I think they'll be through, and it'll put them in a nice kind of mentality of knowing that they've already won a must-win game. Then you go into the knockouts, you have to win. You know, some of these teams, particularly Chennai, Delhi, Bangalore, they've got themselves into such a strong position that they know that they've been able to lose. You know, I really think that you get to the elimination stage, it's good going into the elimination when you know you've had to win a game, desperately needed to win that game. If they don't win, and we said it before the game started, I honestly think Mumbai can still win this tournament. It's Mumbai.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm sure they'll win that. If KKR lose tomorrow, I'm sure Mumbai will win that last game. They'll go into those eliminations with confidence. They seem to have found their right combinations. Ishan Kishan found form. Sort of Kumar Yadav found a little bit of rhythm. They're going to be the team to beat if they get through. It's just Mumbai Indians, the IPL. They pretty much win it, don't they?
I'll tell you, there's my secret sources tell me that Loki Ferguson and Andre Russell have been training.
Your
my
nephew.
Secret sources are actually my nephew, 15, who tracks the Knight Riders social media a bit like Mark Zuckerberg tracks our phones, right? Just all over it. He's heard this as well. Even though I know he doesn't watch this show. I know that for sure. But if they come back, then they obviously walk back into the team, don't they, Lisa? If they're both fit and available. Or would you just kind of...
They do. My only concern is Russell. Because everyone holds his breath every time he dives for a ball or tries to stop a boundary. And they seem to have found... or not replaced him. You can't replace a Russell and what he can do, but they seem to be kind of ticking along nicely. I mean, Morgan needs to find some form. Like if there is ever a time for the skipper to stand up, it has to be right now. But Ferguson, I think, is a bigger miss at the moment. I think if you can get through to the finals, then Russell comes in and then you're laughing, so to speak. But I just worry about Russell because he's so injury prone.
Yeah, if you just pull the squad up and just have a look at that, if Loki was to come in, who would you play him for? Are you playing him for Saudi or are you playing him for Shakib? Where's the match happening tomorrow? Sharjah. So you definitely want to play Shakib there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're probably bringing him for Southey, but Southey is again, he's a performer. You know, he always seems to produce a bit of magic. It wouldn't surprise me if Morgs stays with a similar team with what he's had, because he likes to get on these roles and he'll know in his own mind that he'll need a score, but his captaincy and his kind of culture that he creates with Brendan McCullum is very, very strong. So I'm not saying he's MS Dhoni, because MS Dhoni has got years and years of experience of doing this, but I do think Owen Morgan has a similar kind of trait with players around him. He makes them into better players, and he improves their game by being the leader and managing them. So yeah, he needs some runs, but I don't think it's absolutely crucial that he gets runs all the time. I think he adds so much more with his tactics and his man management.
And if you look at the Rajasthan squad, now Rajasthan's had strange 2 games, right? There was the one game where they beat Chennai, and what a win that was, and then they lose in 8.5 overs to Mumbai. So you're looking at this team and saying, well, hang on, which of those 2 teams is going to show up? They need the versus Chennai team to show up tomorrow, Lisa.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and it falls largely on their openers, to be honest, Evan Lewis and Yashasvi Jaiswal. When those guys give them the acceleration at the start, it just settles everyone else coming in, we saw that with that 190 chase. Question marks still about David Miller and how he fits in. I haven't seen him. I think he scored a 60 the first game, maybe. And then he hasn't really done anything. And there's been a number of seasons now in IPL. He's come in and out of sides. I get that, and that's hard. But that would be maybe the one change I would make.
You also have Michael's favorite, Liam Livingstone, right?
I'd bring him in.
Would you bring Liam Livingstone in for David Miller, you're saying, right? So if you just pull that squad up again, because Liam also, I know he's had a few opportunities and he's not shown anything with the bat, but his class, and also the fact that he can give you a bit on that charge-up pitch, because no matter what everybody says, or there's a little shine, there's a little, it's going to be low and slow, boring and dull. So he could roll his arm over a little bit as well.
Yeah, I would go for that change. He can bowl your leg spin, off spin. He's a brilliant fielder. He's not fired with the bat yet, but he's a class act. Rajasthan always make me laugh. I mean, they're the one team that talks about Moneyball more than anybody talks about Moneyball. They've written a book.
Have they?
I mean, I know a lot about them because they've written a book with Simon Hughes, who I worked with for a few years, on how the IPL works and operates and running a franchise. It's a great read, but you kind of look at the book and read it and think, this is a great read, but you haven't won since the first year, but how are you telling everyone how to do it?
Fair enough.
If it's so easy and so obvious how to run it and produce Moneyball and pick players and use data and stats, surely you should be more competitive. Surely you should be winning more games of cricket. They're brilliant at talking. They're just not very good at playing
That's
the game.
crazy. Maybe their excuse is that they gave all the secrets away in the book. And now everybody's just...
It's like, here, have all our information, but by the way, we won't do what we're telling you to do. We don't actually do that. But it works.
You know that old Genesis Phil Collins song, right? Just do as I say, don't do as I do. Yeah, that's what it is. Just do as I say, don't do as I do. That's exactly what's happening with Rajasthan. Yeah, good point though. Would you play Liam Livingstone? Would he be in your team? Yes, there is dependence, of course, on the openers, Evan Lewis and Jaiswal, and they've shown they've been in good nick as well. So let's just hope that the versus Chennai team shows up tomorrow, because that will really be a good encounter. We want to see some good matches going towards the end.